Good morning, seventh grade. And today you have a really quick and simple puzzle to start the day. And that is to read the single point rubric or basically the assessment rubric we're going to be using to review your winter break roadmap. So I will be reading this out loud with you. And at the end of this puzzle, you will have a question and you must answer to get the points for today. So let me start reading it. Single point rubric, winter break roadmap. In this project, you will create a visual representation of your winter break. The image should contain no less, it can contain more, but there should be no less than 9 different events or memories or episodes from this period of time. The composition, the final image, must incorporate words, images, and color. The layout will be the choice of you. So you get to choose what layout, and we talked about those different layout possibilities. But close attention must be placed on targeting the principles of graphic design we reviewed a while ago. Those principles are repetition, contrast, negative space, proximity, alignment, and focal point. If you do not remember what these are, you can review the previous puzzle, not the one with the comic faces, but the one that explored these 6 different elements and principles that pertain specifically to graphic design. Your finished slide in your portfolio, extremely important. This is something that some of you have forgotten sometimes, needs to include your name, a title for your work, and remember always that theme we talked about last class, the media you use on your work, and dimensions. Dimensions are extremely important. If you're working on digital, you need to put the pixels, or you need to put, there is dimensions in there. So there has to be a way for us to know what type of file, what size file you're using. All right, let's go for the specifics of the project. We are going to be assessing 2 specific standards, responding 7.1 and connecting 11. And basically for each of them, you have the 2 lines in here. This is the responding, perceive and analyze artistic work. There are some questions in there, and then connecting is relate artistic ideas and works with societal, cultural, and historical context to deepen understanding. Well, what is all that? Let me tell you how these 2 standards transfer onto your project specifically. So the way we interpret standard 7.1 is your design represents events and situations that clearly reflect a theme. All right? The images and words included in this design are the result of experiences that can be associated with a very specific culture. A viewer can relate or at least help understand that culture. So if I come from a different culture and I look at your design, I understand that these represent who you are in the place you live and the time you're living. I may not share the same culture, but it helps me understand your idea of that winter break. There is also a clear timeline. It doesn't mean that it has to be a linear timeline. It just says that there is a process, the passing of time that can be interpreted in that design. And there is a certain explanation of events. So you can read that there is an explanation. All right. So these will be standard 7.1 interpreted in the terms of specifically your project. The next standard is the connecting 11 is reflects on your artwork, reflects current events. So it's current, it's pretty new. And traditions. You have put some sort of traditions, whatever those traditions may be, at home, in your family, or in your environment that are applicable to a modern culture, something, present times, and practices. The artwork helps the viewer, helps me, and understand those events and traditions interpreted from your perspective. All right. So we can tell that it is your view of those traditions and the situation. And it's a very specific period of time that is the present period of time. All right. So think about how these things apply to your project and make sure you respond the questions along this video.